Hi everyone. I thought this was a really good question to kind of cover, I guess, I want to say. It's a question that is, I feel like comes up so frequently. If anyone watching this is on their own self-development journey, consciousness journey, awakening, everything that you're going through, I bet you have been thinking about this for a while, right? Most of your life, if not the last few years. How do you stop the egoic mind thinking? How do you stop the mind thinking? You know, that part of your mind thinking that keeps getting in the way. It keeps putting you back in the cycles. The worries come, the anxiety comes in, the stories are there. How do you stop that? With my clients, I find it's very standard when, quite common when I see this in my client. It's quite a common thing. Really, it's a common thing with most people, right? With most of us. It's a very interesting question. The simple answer would be you watch the thought, you watch it, and then you come back to yourself every time. That's the simple answer because that's actually true. You watch the thought, you don't judge it, and you come back to yourself. I like to call that the withinness. I mean, there's no such word as withinness, but I love using that word withinness because it is coming back to you. It's within you because that's all the answers. That's all the answers you need. So that's the simple answer. You watch the thought, you watch it as an observer, so you're not engaged in it and you don't judge it, and you come back to yourself every time, right? But I want to say there is a conscious journey as part of this. When you are waking up more and more, you're going through this awakening journey, you're waking up more to these parts of yourself and therefore waking up to what's outside of you as well, because it's the same thing. So you're on this consciousness journey, you're becoming more conscious, right, as we all are, more and more. You're going to find this a little bit easier. Thank God, right? Thank God. But if you are not quite conscious and you're really in those traumas, and it is trauma, when you're going back into the cycle more and more, it's some kind of trauma, and it's trauma going through your body. And in that body that you're so engaged in, you're not quite aware, the stories are coming up. But because you're so in it, it's really hard to see it, right? So that's the positive. If you're going through a conscious journey, it's going to make it easier for you to do this. That's number one. The other thing is keep on with that formula of watching it. Almost, I want to say let it go, but instead of, I really struggle with that statement of letting it go because it seems so easy. Oh, you just let it go. But it doesn't work like that because when you're in it, oh my gosh, the stories keep on going back and forth, right? That's why I say you come back to yourself. It's the only way, because now it's your inner vibration. It's your inner vibration that knows the answers. It's the only way you can do it. So that's that. But the other thing is, apart from this consciousness journey that's going to help you see it more and more, the next part is, and this is a practice, it is a practice, and that means practicing it in your life and making this happen actually in your life, putting those actions in place, is you have to make the choice. You have to make the choice. The choice being, do you want this to carry on or do you want it to stop? Because what happens is that we become so comfortable with it, right? We become so comfortable. Oh, there's our mind carrying on. Oh yeah, I know this. This is so nice. I can just stay here all day. We become so comfortable with it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, because that's, I guess, how life generally works, there's usually a big push. Life comes and it keeps pushing us, and we have to get to that place of a real big push before the change happens. That's true. So you might find that you have to go through this so many times until you get to the point of, oh my gosh, I am just so fed up of this, I'm going to choose differently, right? But the step is actually choosing for your higher self, which is, I don't like this anymore. I don't like the feeling that it's giving me. And you realize that again when you're becoming more conscious, because I've said this before, consciousness brings in awareness of your feelings and your emotions. That's what basically consciousness is, because your senses have now been activated through your heart. So In that, you become more aware of this, and then you start choosing. And when you start choosing, what that means is that you have to start putting that in action in your life. So if you notice that, you start going, no, I'm not going to listen to that because I'm choosing something different, and you come back to yourself and you do something soothing, reading a book, going out in nature, doing some meditation, right? Or if it's in a relationship with someone that you're in, it doesn't feel good, then you start choosing differently. No, I don't like this. I'm going to act in this way, or I'm going to say this thing to that person. I'm going to do something differently, whatever that is, right? So it's the choosing for your higher self that actually makes the changes. But again, how you delete this egoic mind is watching it. And again, with consciousness, it becomes easier, and come back to yourself every time. And then the final step is that you have to choose what is right for you, for your higher self. And you know that more and more as you go through this journey. The choice will never be what your egoic mind wants, okay? It's never going to be greed. It's never, I want this, no matter what, I'm going to get it. It's going to be something lighter. It's going to feel peaceful. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel really, really good. And usually, I've said this before, usually what is right for your higher self is going to be right for the higher self of all, because we are all doing this together. And that means we have to work together in this energetically, but individually within ourselves. You know, that's how it works. So that's really the process. It's simple. It takes practice. But if you are on this consciousness journey, you're going to find it's easier, because at the end of it, you're going to just feel like, this is too much. I don't want this anymore. You know, so it's really important to ask that question, which I've said before. What do you want your life to look like? How do you want your life to be? What do you want to be in your life? How do you see your life? What change do you want to see in your life? That is how you know what changes you can start putting in your life.